Hello, good morning, welcome back to the fish locker out on the boat. We're out early doors on the boat because we have a stunner of a morning. It's going to be a bit of a mixed day today. The plan is that I'm going to go and try and fish for some lures over some reefs, maybe even some live baits. Then when the tide changes, so we've got wind and tide together, put the anchor down, either on some rough ground or a wreck. I haven't figured out yet, we'll decide when we get down there what the conditions are going to be doing. Let's go. We have just got the start of the May bloom. At this time of year, when the sun starts coming out more and we start getting a little bit warmer water, we'll get a plankton bloom. Call it the May bloom because it usually starts in May. Yeah, well, we're well into May and it has started, and it just means that the water is full of little cobwebs. I'll try and show you if I can. I'll try and get a little bit of video of it. Yeah, can you see all like the particles and the little cobwebs in the water? That's the algal bloom, but it's just loads of particles. It just looks like, you know, like when you've got a cobweb in the corner of your room and it's got some dust in it. That's what it looks like. Yeah, it doesn't do the fishing any favours. Fishing generally drops off when it all starts up. There's different theories as to why that is. Some people say that it gets in the fish's gills and they don't like it. I feel that it reduces the oxygen content of the water. See if we can't pick a Rass or a pollock out on this little piece of reef, and then we'll move to another one. Oh, there's a fish. The reason it feels like a Rass is because it is a Rass. Little ballon. See if we can't get a bit of bait. I stopped off at a spot on the way down here. Managed to get a couple of little pilchards. But yeah, the mackerel seem to have moved off when this plankton's come through. When I put the anchor down, I would like to have 3 or 4 fresh mackerel or scad or something like that. Otherwise, I'm going to have to use like sand eel strips to catch whiting and pouting and use the pouting and whiting as bait. Oh. Well, at least none of the sand eels are still here. All I'm using here is I'm just using a set of sabikis. Those are little tiny lures with small hooks. Oh, that feels a bit better. Might have a mackerel here, or I'll just have a full string of sand eels. No. Just a washing line full of sand eels. Those sand eels and lawns that I've got there are perfect for drifting with live baits, like with a float over a reef. But they're not great for fishing on wrecks. Today is smallish tides and I wanted something with a bit of scent, something with a bit of meat in it, like a mackerel or a scad, to be able to try and pluck a ling out of a wreck. Oh, I tell you what, straight into them again. Unfortunately, the water quality down here is not very good either. Yeah, we've got loads of that plankton down here as well. We do have quite small tides at the minute, so there's nothing to clear the water out. I'm going to fish it out here for a little bit, move around, and if I can't find anywhere here, I'm going to have to go and look to try and find somewhere with a bit more tide to hopefully clear the water. Another issue that we're having is because we've got wind against tide. The tide's going that way and the wind's pushing the boat that way. So effectively over the ground, the boat isn't moving. Yeah, the boat is stationary because the wind is holding it back. Whereas my lures in the water are getting whooshed away. Found one. Feels like a little scrappy Rass. There you go. Tell you what, he's been in the wars. Look at his tail. Yeah. They have got some lovely colours. This one's obviously really camouflaged for living in seaweed. Yeah, when they get big, when they start getting above £3, like 3, 4, £5, you can get some stunning colours in them. Bright oranges, reds, golds. Quite often the smaller ones, like around that size, they have a stunning tail, like the tail's electric blue or like peacock colours, blue and green. And where was Jifty? Which way are we going? That way. Oh, not yet. Feels like another scrappy Rass. I hope that this shows up on the camera, but you know what I was saying about the colours of their fins? See all that blue and green in there? They are absolutely stunning. I hope that the colours come out properly in it, because they're like an iridescent blue and green. This guy's a bit of a warrior. He's covered in scars. There you go. Yeah, that's just what I was saying about the colour of them tails. It only ever seems to be when they're about that size as well. Like the real big ones, like the 5, 6 pounders, they never seem to have that on their tail. They just have their own special colours. Like quite often they're like a real dark, I'm trying to think of a name. It's not just orange. It's like a rich, rusty orange. A lot of them with white spots, bright red ones. Yeah, great. Do like catching Rass, especially when you're fishing light like this and you take your time to bring them up, because they all go straight back again. Oh, that's a scrappy one. There you go. Let's go and try somewhere else. Just scratching around for a Rass. A little ballon. Just can't seem to scratch the fish out today. I mean, I would like to say, whenever the fishing's not working well, you always try and find out what it is in your mind. I'm inclined to believe it's because all this plankton's just started. Smaller tides and a lot of plankton. Oh, found one. Oh, it feels like a proper one as well. Finally! Switched over from my little jig, put a soft plastic on, and I found something, thank goodness. Found the first pollock of the day, which is good to see. It's a lovely stocky fish. There's not a mark on it, and I tell you what, it's scrapped. There you go. Yeah. Oh, come on. Pop. There we go. The beauty about fishing light and on the reefs like this is you can do this one. And absolutely drench yourself. Yeah. Thank goodness. So it's maybe just that the jig's not working today. That pollock for me was a little bit small. I would want something about twice the size. Oh. I'm definitely inclined to say it was the jig now. Oh, hello. Hello, sunshine. Well, I tell you what, he's a scrapper, this one. That is a proper ballan wrasse, and of course he's soaked the camera too. You know what I was saying about the colours underneath them? This guy's a proper one. Keep a wrapper line around my hand. Yeah, this guy is a really good looking ballan wrasse. What colour's there in his tail? Rocking about all over the spot now. There we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to unhook it and I'm going to stick it in the live bait tank to recover. Oh, but when he come up to the surface, what he was spitting out, you couldn't see was. Oh. What he was spitting out was dozens of tiny sand eels. When I say tiny ones, I mean they were like that big and like twice the thickness of a match. So that's what they're fishing, that's what they're eating down there, which maybe explains why my little sand eel imitation lure worked. But yeah, that was 2 on the bounce, that. There you are, this guy's recovered now. Get him sent back. Good man. Let's go around and try that again. Yeah, it just goes to show you how a little bit of a change of lures can make all the difference. Fishing with that little jig and I was just scratching out the wrasse. As soon as I put the soft plastic on, I had a pollock, then I had a bigger wrasse. This is just me, my conflict spinning setup with a slammer 4,500. And all I'm doing is I'm dropping down to near the bottom, and then when I get down there, doing a couple of bounces above the kelp and then to wind it in. Got you. I felt that take it on the drop then. Another lovely reef pollock. See, where I'm holding this fish is my fingers aren't going in the gills, it's just up inside of the gill cover there. It's the safest and strongest way of holding them to stop them from flapping. This fish is, just for anyone knowing, just for anyone curious, this fish is this fish is 54 centimetres. I'd like, if I catch something around about the 5-6 pound mark, then I'll be keeping it. Not yet. Not yet. Only a small one, this one though. It's barely big enough to get the hook in its mouth. Not yet. Well, I had it. Just all about working out what they're after on that day. Some days they're all taking the baits high up in the water, other ones it's a fast retrieve, other ones it's really lazy on the seabed. It's just about working out what's going on the day. Oh, I missed it again. I think that's a little one. Where are we drifting? Yeah. I'm hoping there is like a 6 to 8 pounder in there amongst them. If I get a nice bass or a nice pollock to take to the table today, that'd be brilliant. Tell you what I might do. I'll finish this drift with this lure, and I might go and try and put a different one with a heavier head. See if I can't grub about in the bottom for longer. Trying to lure with a heavier head, just to see if I can get down in the bottom more. If I have a drift now and I don't catch anything on this, I know that it needs to be a really small light lure. Oh. You took on the drop, didn't you? Oh, it's a bass. Get in the net, yes! Oh, that was a moment of panic. Yeah, it's a bass. Didn't fight like one, but it is one. Calm yourself down, kid. There you go. "51 centimetres. Now what I am going to do actually, I'm going to stick him in that live bait tank. And I'm going to hang on, because if there's some bass about, I'm going to wait, because although he is 50 centimetres and he's large enough to take, he is a very skinny one. So if I can find a bigger one, I'll keep that one instead. So by keeping it alive in the live bait tank, if I catch a bigger one in the next 20 minutes, I'll let that one go and keep the other one. But yeah, that was a very quick take. That was still dropping to the bottom, and the only reason I knew that I had a fish on is because my line, instead of being out there, ran underneath the boat. It was a mad panic to get the net. That bass is sat in that live bait tank with all them sand eels. It's probably going, oh, nice one. Like all you can eat buffet. Got ya. Another bass, but slightly smaller than the last. So there are a few of them down there. Yeah, there must be a few of them down there. What I am going to do is I'm going to try an even smaller lure next. Oh, straight into it. This is that little tiny sand eel. Wow. That little tiny lure, I've just put it on, just dropped down, smacked straight into a fish. There you go, look, the little tiny sand eel. Let's try that again. Yeah, match the hatch. Cause that ballon Rass spat out them little tiny sand eels, this is what I'm inclined to be using. Currently in 23 metres of water, so getting that little like 10 gram lure all the way at the bottom is quite difficult in all this drift. Found a little bit of the reef with a little bit more tide, which means it's got clearer water, and it's just honing down as to what size and what type of lure they're wanting. Only problem being is because they're wanting a tiny lure. Because I'm in a bit of tide and there's wind against tide now, it's the difficulty of getting the lure to the bottom where the fish are. Got ya. Another lovely pollock. Tell you what, they're very well fed. Again, around like the 52-54 centimetre mark. They are well fed, these fish. They are lovely stocky fish. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't think it felt like a pollock. Ooh, found you. Chunky ballon, but again, with a very pretty tail. I don't know if you can see him, but it's got like iridescent blue in its tail. drift's slowing right down here, so the fishing's dropping off and all. I think I'll do one more sweep round and then we'll go and try somewhere else. A little bit more motion down here. Let's see what we get on. Bass generally, they like a bit of fizz, like a bit of motion. Don't want to talk too soon, but this does feel bassy. Yes! Yes! Oh, I'm pleased with that. Yes. I am pleased with that fish. That is a nice one. That is a cracking fish there. And there's the lure just in the corner of his mouth. Perfect. That is exactly what I was after. A bit of a gash on his side. One on this side too. You sunshine are coming home with me. Oh, pop, there we go. For anybody that's curious, this fish is 63 centimeters. Which means that this smaller one that I had in a live bait tank I can return now. His fins are all still up, he's still ready to go back. Brilliant. That's the beauty about having a live bait tank like that. You can have oxygenated water going through it and then let the fish go if you don't need them. God, I tell you what, there's some motion down here now. That is the beauty about having one of those live bait tanks. That barrel there, I've just got fresh seawater in it. And I've got a pump running, so it's constantly got oxygenated water. So that bass that I caught half an hour ago was perfectly fine in there, swimming around, probably eating all them sand eels. And then now I've caught a bigger bass, a better bass to take, because the first one was a bit skinny. All I do is just take the old one out, return it, keep that one. Now, I am taking that bass for the table. That one, definitely. I mean, I don't think I'm going to catch a better one than that. So what I'm going to do is I'll put him in a live bait tank and let him recover, let him calm down, and then dispatch him and bleed him. It's he's fought all the way to the boat, so he's got lactic acid in his muscles, he's stressed out. You're better off not dispatching them there and then. If you can, revive them so they're calm. So I'll recover them, then humanely dispatch them and then bleed them. Just keep getting thrown about all over the place. I aren't going to show you that on the camera because I know that some people don't like to see that, but if you want to know how to do it, just Google Eek Jimmy. Right, after all this thrashing around, we'll go for one more of them. I'll tell you what, it is sloppy when you hit broadside. Yeah, I could see when that fish took that it felt like a bass because it was like a shaking its head, and I knew it was quite a good one. Just by the how solid the pulls were. Little tiny ones just thrash. That was exactly what I came here for. Oh, got you. Remember what I was saying earlier about some of them go like bright rusty orange. Have you quite finished? Yeah. Look at the colorations there. A proper set of gnashes on him, aren't they? I can see some birds going absolutely mental down there. They're about a mile away. Might have to go down and give them a look. Ooh, missed it. Got ya. That fish had about 5 strikes at that. No, get into it, get into it, get into it. Yes! There you go. These guys are covered in spikes and they absolutely know how to use them. Now look. All of these are a spike here. Got a spike in there. This is the worst one sometimes. The little one there at the bottom of the anal fin. With big spikes at the sides of the gills. Yeah. You fella are coming home with me. .58 centimetres. Cracking fresh run silver. Yeah, I felt that fish. That fish came and hit that a few times before I managed to set the hook into it. Found you. Another monster ballan wrasse. Haven't I already seen this guy today? I'm sure I've had you once already today. Remember what I was saying earlier about when they get to a certain size? Like the colorations, the markings that they have underneath them are just absolutely spectacular. Nothing like them. They're just, there could be a tropical fish. They wouldn't look out of place on a tropical reef or in a tropical fish tank. Oh, I tell you what, you've got that well into your lips, haven't you? Oof. Don't do it. There we go. No sooner had I set off to go down and investigate to see what those birds were going on at, they just all stopped. That was why I was reluctant to go down there in the first place, because they're about a mile away. And by the time I'd managed to like batten everything down and steam down there, they could have stopped. You just end up chasing fish around. You don't leave fish to find fish. Unless like the situation that I'm in now, where I've got 2 nice bass. I'm going to have 1 more drift on here, and I'm going to go and look about putting the anchor down. I'm only allowed to take 2 bass a day. That second one's still alive in the live bait tank. Near it splashing around it back of there. So if I catch a better one on this drift, I'll keep that and put that one back. We'll try some anchor fishing for an hour or so. Well, that's the anchor bedded in anyway. Right, I've got the anchor sat back, and I've just got my first 2 squid baits out. I'm going to be putting 2 full squid down, one on either side there. I'm just fishing the edge of a piece of rough ground. I'm not going to push too far offshore, just because it is a little bit sloppy, and I've already caught 2 nice bass, so I don't need to go all the way off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rig up a little scratching rig as well, just to see if I can't winkle out a bream or something around the side of the rocks. When I bring one of them, I'm saying this like it's going to happen. When I bring one of those other rigs in with a fish on, I'll show you what it's like. But the scratching rig, all I'm doing is I'm just putting some little hooks on it. Little hooks on it and little strips of squid. It's the first time I've ever anchored here. First time I've ever anchored on this spot. So although I can speculate what there is down there, although I can have a guess as to what type of fish we've got down there, you never really know until you catch them. I'm putting these scratching rigs down to see if there's poor cod, pouting, whiting, hook or wrasse, that type of thing. Small fish for bigger fish to feed on. And this is the time when I get to eat my sandwiches. Of course it is. All this rig is, if I can show you without slopping about the place, is a sliding ledger and a hook length of about 3 feet with a couple of hooks and a squid. This time it's a lovely spotty bullhuss. There you go. They are good looking, aren't they? Try not to thrash around. Funny looking little shark. Just dogfish, dogfish, dogfish. Like 8 dogfish now. Give me a chance to finish my sandwiches. If we're still just catching doggies, I'm off. I've had enough of them for a while. Felt too big to be a dogfish. An angry bullhuss, and it's just been caught by the pennel hook just in the corner of its mouth. Look, see? The stunning looking fish. They are very pretty when they're sandy like this. Look out. Fish returned. Most interested about to see what small stuff's down there, because I've had a couple of huss and I've had loads of doggies. I'm expecting like cuckoo wrasse, pouting, poor cod. But those wraps like that, it could be little bream. Hooked something on the scratching rod. Now this is completely different, or at least it feels like it. Oh, that's why. Because it is a pouting. Flubbered up pouting. Another species, I guess. Oh, calm down. I said I thought they'd be here. Right, I've finished my sandwiches now. Let's get the anchor up, start heading back. Let's go. Different day in here, isn't it? The bass that I caught earlier on, I revived them, dispatched them and bled them. What you need to do with bass is, unlike pollock, bass have got like really big scales that need to come off. There, look. So what you need to do is you need to scale them. Now I always find it's easier to scale them properly if you scale them before you gut them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the back of my knife and I'm going to scale them over the side of the boat. I'm not going to do them in the boat just because it just fires scales everywhere. All you do is you just rub the back of your knife or a spoon up against them and it takes all the scales off. You should be able to see the difference now. This one has been scaled and this one hasn't. You see, look, I've taken all the scales off it. This one's now ready to gut and fillet. I just need to scale this one. It's a cracking brace of fish, that. By bleeding it properly, you end up with a far better quality meat at the end. There you go. Scaled, filleted and V-boned, and there's nout left on them. But I'm going to do my best to try and turn those into a lobster. I hope you enjoyed joining me. I hope you found it interesting. All the very best. See you later.